Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new F1 2020 gameplay video for you guys today. And the subject matter is a little bit different to maybe some previous gameplays I may have done in years past, because this is all to do with Cockpit Cam, because in this year's game, there is a brand new addition to the on-screen display in the form of a rear view camera. So this changes things quite a bit in terms of the way you go about racing in Cockpit Cam. I don't do a lot, or any Cockpit Cam really, on the channel. It's not my preferred medium. A lot of people always ask me sometimes if they're new to the channel, how come I don't race in Cockpit? Because, you know, when you watch other racing games, other kind of more simulator games, everyone runs Cockpit Cam, or you're forced to run Cockpit Cam in the case of like iRacing, for example. I use T-Cam, one, because you can go a little bit quicker in T-Cam, because it's just a fact of life. You can see way more of your surroundings, so you can go that little bit quicker because you can see more. I'm sure there are people that can go quicker in Cockpit than they can go T-Cam, but personally, for me, and a lot of the majority, you can see more, so you can go quicker. And also, that goes into point number two, of course, because I'm a video maker, I have to first and foremost think about the actual video rather than how I would want to play it. And even if I wanted to play the game in Cockpit, which I don't, T-Cam is a better view, the best view, to get a better sense of what the racing's like. Obviously, that's how you see F1 on TV. You see it from off-board, you know, camera shots from the grandstands, and then you see it on the T-Cam, usually offset T-Cam, but I think that the majority use the kind of straight T-Cam in the F1 games. But I thought I'd go ahead and try Cockpit Cam right here, and mainly just because I wanted to show you off the rear view mirror aspect, but also I'll just play around with some of the settings. Here you can see in the background, I'm just basically messing around with the customization of the camera. I've gone into the preset where you can specifically target each car as well, which if you didn't know, you can do since last year's game. But I've changed the FOV and things like the how far the camera was, like down the cockpit. If you're wondering, by the way, I think a lot of people always wonder why my cameras look quite different to theirs in-game. It's because generally, compared to most people, I tend to run higher FOVs than most people, so try bumping up your FOV if you want to try and get a similar camera to mine. But here you go. There is that rear view camera, which is looking very snazzy indeed. And this, straight away, when I first saw this in Lee Madden's presentation, and then also tried it out for myself, straight away I thought iRacing. This has an iRacing vibe, because this is the exact sort of thing you see on iRacing, where you've got the rear view, probably where the work in progress sticker is right now on this kind of pre-beta version of the game. But in iRacing, the rear view camera is all the way up there on the screen, and then obviously you're forced to run cockpit in any car you've done, any car you do. So in this case, obviously open wheel, and so it very much gives you that iRacing kind of vibe, you know, the full simulation sort of thing. But if you do like to do the whole full simulation sort of thing, drive your F1 car in cockpit, you can do so now, and also you don't have to worry about doing this. Now, initially, when I set this up, you'll see I tried to maybe get a little bit of the camera view, and I actually moved the FOV and the camera forward then, eventually, in such a way where I don't actually even need to see the left and right mirror. I realized, hang on, why I've got the rear view mirror on. Now I can zoom in, so now you can see, compared to just before here, before I paused it, you can see I've moved the camera a lot more forward, so a little bit closer to the wheel, but I also opened up the FOV. So basically what that means is you get more of a view and more real estate of the track, and actually less of the car, because you're zooming in on the car, so getting less of the car, but also increasing the FOV, so the amount you're seeing in front of you just above the front tires is actually more. So it's actually a really decent way to expand more real estate on the screen for yourself to see, and also still be able to see behind you. Because, of course, now I can't look left or right unless I use the buttons, but I actually don't on my wheel. I don't know about you guys, I don't have a button mapped to look left and right. So if you're running 3 monitors, I guess you could see your mirrors, but I can't see my mirrors now, left and right, but I don't need to, because I've got the rear view mirror now. So it's a great addition for Cockpit Cam users. You can also use this in T-Cam, by the way, as well, any camera. It's just an option that adds on, but it's obviously especially useful in Cockpit Cam, because, you know, if you run your FOV like this, you can't see your left and right mirror. But I've got to say, actually, it's been a while since I've done Cockpit Cam, ever even tried it like this. It's been like a good 2 years since I even bothered to go on Cockpit Cam, because that's how much I just don't need it, because like I said, for videos I always use T-Cam. To be fair, really decent actually. I don't know, I think it's definitely the customization options. I think 2 years ago there wasn't such detailed customization in every camera you could use on the game. So with the customizations, I've got to say Cockpit Cam's a lot more palatable, I guess is the word, for it, because I actually felt quite decent. Like, I know I definitely will be going faster in T-Cam, and obviously I can tell you now I won't be using Cockpit for future videos, especially the main career mode videos I do on the channel ever, just because of that view. But I would say if I was told to use Cockpit for like one video or something, or if like I don't know, let's say I did an event where they all forced you to Cockpit, it's not too bad actually compared to what we used to have to deal with on F1, 2012, 13, all the way to like 16, where I think 16 or 17 was the last game. There was no real customization of the camera features. It's a lot better. Like, you can see a lot more now. It's not really like you're kind of closed off and can't see anything. I know in real life that's kind of how it is as well, but for the sake of the game, you kind of want to see a lot. Anyway, here, this is a bit of an odd thing. So I thought I wanted to test out the kind of the actual visual effects of the mirror, because I know in iRacing, the mirror on the rear view heads-up display kind of warps it a little bit and makes objects look a little bit, I can't remember on iRacing, I think it makes them look a little bit further away than they actually are maybe, or it might be closer, but definitely on the F1 2020 game, you can see here, now, in the mirror there, that board looks... That's what I would say. That board is right up close to my gearbox. It wasn't. I could have gone a lot further. So the rear view mirror definitely shows you things a little bit closer. So that's just one thing to think about. I think about it now. I think it's the same in iRacing. So it's one thing to think about now, that if you do go and choose this option to go racing with, if you're racing against AI, the AI will look, or other league races, for example, they will look a lot closer than they actually are. So it does give you that little kind of, you don't actually have to ever look back. You don't have to ever look in your mirrors. Don't even have to use proximity arrows, because I feel like it gives you that space, I guess, that kind of, leeway, because the mirror, like in a real car, I guess, as well, it zooms it in more. So it is very realistic to that kind of sense. And then here is what I wanted to show you, just to finish things off, is the customizable heads-up display. This is nothing new. This was available to all PC players, but that's the thing. Now on F1 2020, this is available to all of you that are on Xbox and PS4, and then obviously still PC players. So you may have noticed in my videos, actually, and you might go back and compare them to your own game if you're on the consoles, my heads-up display is a little bit different to all your guys' at home, because at the start of F1 2019 last year in July, before I recorded the first episode, I customized the heads-up display to my liking. So I personally, in T-Cam, I pushed forwards, left and right, to the edges, the heads-up display of the driver names and the timestamps and the time ladder on the right and the left, and even the heads-up display in the minimap. I moved them as far to the edge of the screen as I could, because for the sake of my videos, I want you guys to see more of the game and less of the heads-up display. But you can do it however you want. If you prefer to see a bigger heads-up display, you can. So like in the example of this, in Cockpit Cam, you might want to see, bigger names, because obviously with Cockpit, you're so zoomed in with tunnel vision, so with your peripheral vision, you may not be able to see like the names of who's behind you, who's ahead of you, the times or whatever in qualifying, so you might want to zoom in and everything. Actually, it works quite nicely here that I've actually zoomed in the left-hand side, just to literally fit in right on the edge of the rear view mirror. So you can get this really nice kind of dashboard almost going across the halo if you moved everything upwards even more to the very top where the halo is. And you can get this really nice kind of dash cam, I guess, of using the halo space, lost space base. You can't see anything past that part of the halo. You may as well use it to put the heads-up display on. So you can get some really nice customization going. But that customization was not available to console players. Now they've found space for it. I mean, I'm quite astounded, actually, because they've, found space in the, the kind of hardware to put a split screen in, which they always said was an issue due to the power and the kind of space it takes on the hard drive and stuff and the game itself. And they gone and did it, and now they've put this on the consoles. All kind of things that I thought, okay, maybe they can't do it now, maybe they can do it for the next-gen consoles when there's a bit beefier, but they've gone and found the space to do it. I guess, I don't know, maybe they've, found more efficient way of loading things up and whatnot. I don't really know, because I'm not a game developer, but, it's good to see that they've got that now. So you guys at home on the consoles, PS4 and Xbox, you can customize your HUDs now. So there's different things you can do. The scaling, the rotation, the opacity. You can just flat out remove parts of the heads-up display, so you can get a completely customized look at the way you want to play the F1 game. What information's important to you, and like I said, you can kind of, in the sake of Cockpit, you fit it in nicely to the halo. In T-Cam, less so, but for example, for me, it was pushing everything to the side to get a better view. But yeah, just two kind of, not major things with F1 2020, but I thought, unique enough and important enough to show you guys, because you might not know if someone doesn't tell you. So there's the rear view mirror, so for you guys who play Cockpit Cam, that'll be quite useful. Obviously still available in other camera modes as well. And then the customizable HUD, I think, really adds to it and gives you that more simulator kind of feel of that level of customization and the heads-up display, I feel, especially with the rear view mirror. I mean, like I said, straight away you got an iRacing feel for me personally, because that's the only time I ever see a rear view mirror on boards is iRacing. So it gives you that kind of weird kind of feeling of like, oh, it's kind of like imposter syndrome when you step into the F1 2020 game. So anyway, that's been this video, a bit of a chill one, just talking through those two little bits of the gameplay. And I guess if you're interested in Cockpit Cam gameplay from me, then there you go. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to hit that like button, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.